Here, right?
Jamie gave regrets.
Okay. Erin, though, have we heard from her? Maybe she's just running late.
I recall hearing from her.
Okay. Everybody else is here. Mike. Where's Mike? Mike, did he say he was going to be around?
I haven't heard.
Okay. So we haven't heard from Erin and Mike. All right. Well, we're good to get going, right? Hello, everybody online. Somebody just joined. There's Erin. Hi, Erin.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Wayne's here, but he's in Toronto online, so I guess I'll go ahead and vice chair the meeting. Okay. So call to order, okay, land recognition, David.
Sure. So the Sault Ste. Marie Public Library is a gathering place where community comes together to share stories, to explore new ideas, to gain knowledge of the past. It's through this unique position in our community that we support and promote truth and reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge with respect that we are in Robinson-Huron Treaty territory, that the land on which we are gathered on is traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and is known as Boating. Boating is the home of Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. The library and we as individuals have a deep desire to bring about change in our community and move forward together as diverse and inclusive peoples. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and the culture and are committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect.
Great, thank you. Do we have any declarations of conflict of interest? No. Okay. And everyone's had a chance to look at the agenda. I'd like to get approval of that. If I can get a motion to approve. David, thank you. And second, Wayne, thank you. No delegations today. Chair's report. Wayne, do you have a report to share? Can't hear you. You are on mute. You'd
think I knew how to do this by now. No, I do not have a report. I'm in Toronto for Federation of Public Libraries, and I'll add it to my June report.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Now we have the consent agenda. I know there are a couple of items that are moved out into number 7 on the agenda. Are there any items that anyone would like to pull? Any other items? All right, if not, if I can get a motion to approve the consent agenda. Kevin, thank you. And second?
I will.
Thanks, Erin. Okay, so we'll move through the consent agenda.
Point of order.
Sorry?
I said point of order. This is, are we going to do a vote on this or excused absence or approval of agenda?
Supposed to vote on.
You are. So you usually, I think Wayne says, is there any like dissent, right?
For what?
For all of the motions.
Oh, okay. Are there any dissents?
So
or do we need to vote?
Do you want to go back to the approval of agenda, Steve?
Well, I mean, we also skipped excused absence as well, so technically Jamie's absence isn't excused until we pass a motion on that too.
Yeah, right. We do. I have for the approval of the agenda. I do have secretary. For the chair's report, I do have secretary, or not the consent. I have a mover and secretary. I don't have one for.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the excused absences, which is just, well, it's Jamie, it's excused, just Jamie, right?
Mike, I don't believe he's sent in.
Right, but he is absent, but yeah. Can I get a motion to approve? Steve, would you like to?
Oh, sure, why not?
Thank you. And second? Wayne, thank you. Bear with me, guys, as I learn this role. Thank you for pointing all that stuff out, Steve. What's the other thing? Anything else here?
Lisa, I think what Steve is getting at, that you didn't ask for approval of the motion. You got a mover and a seconder, but he didn't hear, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. I don't think he heard you ask for approval or opposition to the motion.
Okay. Okay, so we can go back to approval of the agenda. There, is there anyone that's not in favor of that? Wonderful. Okay.
That works.
The consent agenda, we have Kevin motion to approve, and Aaron, are there anyone not in favor of that? Great. Okay. 6.6, just a summary of motions. Is there anything to do there? I don't think so.
No, that's part of the consent agenda,
Okay.
so that everything we've been
Great.
approved by the
Okay,
program sector.
thank you. So number 7, items removed from consent. 7.1 is a letter of intent from the art project from Community Development Enterprise.
So I pulled that one from consent myself. Usually, there's a lot of correspondence that doesn't require discussion, but this one does. It's directly impacts the board. The proposal is to put some artwork on the James L. McIntyre Centennial Library on the north side on the brick above the lower level parking lots, but visible from the roadway. It's supposed to be LGBTQ plus art, and one of the reasons why they wanted to do it in this location is they really liked having the rainbow walk that used to be in front of the library. They think it's a really great location for it. Unfortunately, the rainbow walk deteriorated way too quickly, and it wasn't something that was not lasting. And they're also concerned about vandalism as well. So they want to put it in a fairly secure place. This would be quite high. It would be on the building. And then they would ask for active participation from the library board in this project. And they're offering 2 board members a seat at the table for choosing the artists and being part of the whole art project. So that way we can ensure that it aligns with all our forward policies and it's aligned with our vision and mission. I have had a meeting with the athlete about this. The timeline is provided, and we wouldn't see anything until summer of 2027 with it actually being installed.
Kevin?
This is coming from the city, from
City, yeah.
city department. Do we have a choice?
Technically, yeah. It is the city's building, so right now, they're very considerate and asking for permission. I mean, if they wanted to, they could probably go through a different process and try and force the issue. I don't think that's something that they desire to do. They just thought it would be a really good partnership opportunity. So they're, like I said, they're trying to create this artwork that is representative of an inclusive community, and they thought that that would be, the library is a great place to illustrate that Suzanne reason that they're inclusive. Of the board members, they've offered so the president, which I think they mean to be the board chair, and then another board or director. So it'd be the chair is being offered a position on the committee as well as another director, and then myself as well. And they've identified other organizers that would be part of this committee. It'd be quite a large committee, but we would have quite a bit of influence on the final product.
Wayne?
How big and where? I'm not clear.
Yeah, which one? North wall?
North side facing East Street.
Okay,
So when you look at the library from actually it's Bay Street. So you're going down Bay Street, you see the side of the library. There's two bricked areas. There's a brick wall here, then the large windows that look out into the children's area, and then another brick wall. It would be panels on one of those brick walls. And it would be very sizable. It would be large, so that it's easily observable from the roadway. It'd be high, because in that part where the grade of the ground is, that would be like a second story height. So there's less concern of anything like vandalism happening to it. They are still going to put anti-graffiti coverings over it. They're doing that with all the artworks in downtown.
Who chooses the artist? Sorry, I have a bunch of questions about this.
yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
That's the committee.
That we would be on, like, we'd have two representatives on that. So it's that whole. There's
The
that.
Cultural Vitality Committee.
So does the library retain any kind of veto power to, if we're not satisfied with the result? The before it even goes up? Do you have anything like that?
I don't know about veto. So it's going to be chosen by the mural advisory panel committee, and
Which we would be on.
which would be on. We'd have three representatives
Yeah,
on it.
So
I don't know if they would proceed with a project if three of the
Yeah.
committee members that were working at the library or representing the library would say no.
okay. And we definitely need to be there.
And
So we would be three of up to 17 on the committee.
17. It looks from this timeline, it looks to be August for the development of the mural advisory panel. So if whoever goes on this would looking at August,
Yeah.
September.
You'd be looking at about a year commitments with committee meetings every once in a while.
It's a lot for me, so.
Yeah, it's a sensitive subject too. So
Well, I'm just not a very good advisor on art.
you could probably say that that's
To say it
anyways.
plain. And I'm who's the funder? Is it the Arts Council?
No,
I believe it's a city.
Sorry, just to go back, mid-April 27, it does say final approval of design by library board. So
Okay.
I think it would come back to
Yeah.
us as well.
You said it's a sensitive subject. Why? Can you elaborate?
It's because it's the LGBTQ
So just because.
plus. Yeah.
I don't design about it. That's technically gross. That's interesting because I guess will come back to the library board, even though we have stakeholders on that
Throughout.
committee. Yeah,
That makes me feel better
yeah.
in a little bit.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
13, 14, 15.
What happens? I'm just going to throw this out there. What happens if we said we weren't interested?
Yeah, I want to know too.
It's a good question. I don't know exactly. I mean, they could just put it to rest and try and find another location for it within the city. They could possibly go to Tom Bear and Matthew and see about with the ownership of the building if they could do it without our approval. I'd rather have input or not, if.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just don't know what I'm getting into, and I'm always cautious of things like this. I
Mhm.
want to make sure that we're protected in terms
Yeah.
of the final product, and it sounds like we are. And we're not on the hook for any costs by the sounds
No.
of it either, so.
No, the fees aren't being paid for by us.
How big is it gonna be again?
It's gonna be large.
Right?
Large, very large.
It's gonna be a state.
Did they say why the library, like why this wall on the library as opposed to anywhere
They
else?
want it visible to people traveling down Bay Street. We don't, there's not as much room, and we don't really want it on the front of the library itself.
Yeah.
I mean, we have those big glass windows.
Doesn't it look like there's like trees and stuff? Like
Yeah, they said that they still see that area quite well when you're traveling. They wanted to make this inclusive artwork.
Okay.
They thought library is a good place. It's downtown. They want it somewhere in the downtown. A lot of the other available mural spaces are already taken up right now. If you look around.
Yeah.
So they're also running out of, I think, spaces to put artworks like this. And I think they also found it appealing that it would be at a height that people couldn't easily access.
Okay.
With our just where our building is, works out that way. I did also suggest on the south side as well, but it would have very little visibility on that side, because I know we want to activate that space too.
Do we have to decide today?
I don't think so, but it would put a delay in their timeline if we were to.
You looking for a motion here, Lisa?
It would require a motion.
Okay.
So a motion to work collaboratively with this committee and provide 2 board members to the panel. The 2 things, I guess.
I don't think we'd have to decide who the board members are
No.
going to be right now. And maybe it's something that we could be tentatively agreeable to, where we meet with the committee and see what's going on with the committee and decide at that point if that's something that we want to continue to be part of.
I'll make the motion to support this in principle. The art murals around town are becoming quite prominent and on part of tourism for Sault Ste. Marie, so yeah, I'll support that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Have a vote.
Yeah, you probably should go with this.
Just vote to support the motion, a motion to support it. If you guys online can put your hands up or something. I don't see anything from Paulo, Steve, or Aaron.
Steve
I'm good
seconded
with it.
Sorry, Steve, yeah. Paulo. David. Ellen.
Steve second.
Yeah. Did you want to discuss it further? You're thinking of sitting on it for a bit? What are your?
Yeah, like it's not, like this isn't in principle, like
Mhm.
if we vote on this right now, they're going forward, full steam ahead, right? And
Something good, yeah.
it's not that I have any issue with the mural or with us being inclusive. But we don't put any other murals on here. Like, we're inclusive.
Why that particular one?
Why that
Yeah.
particular one? Are we gonna start
Getting into, yeah.
getting into that? Like,
I hear
yeah,
you.
like I just think like we're inclusive by being like by not doing these things. You know, by not picking the size and by not advertising for groups and
There you go. That's a good point.
I think you tapped into my anxiety, Steve, or Kevin, sorry.
not everybody's gonna like this.
Well,
No.
well,
It's
no,
gonna open us up for vandalism.
no, like it's more about, okay, so what else are we opening ourselves up to? I'm not opposed to the group or what they want to do. It's, is this, I think it aligns with our policies. I don't see any issue there. But what else does it open the door to?
I would actually be more happy if we were covering the library in all different murals.
Yeah,
That would be great.
Like, or one year
There's a
across
thought.
different
You know.
communities and it, yeah.
Could also be a problem.
yeah. I get your concern, Kevin.
But
And
I think,
so I think
because-
that, sorry.
okay, and like agreeing in principle allows us to, if we get into this and it is not something that we support, then we do have where we pull out. You know, we still have the library board.
So, okay, so assuming that we have final say as a board, then I'm okay with it.
It's our, it's our building where it's our site, you
Mhm.
know?
But
So I
that's the
think-
problem, right? It's not our building. Are we
Yeah.
only being asked to be on this? Like, is it already a done deal and this is just, we'll
Hmm.
put them on it? Like, I agree with what Kevin's saying. You know, I sort of like the fact that either everybody's on the building or nobody's on the building. But on the other hand, if this is going ahead without us because they don't need us, I'd rather have a seat at the table.
Maybe the city could erect a wall near their building that would feature.
They have a lot of white space on their building.
Yes.
Well, the Rainbow Walk is down by Foster.
Yeah, it is
Is
now.
it?
Yeah.
They had to move it.
Is it like, has it recently been painted?
Yeah,
or-
it
Okay, I
was
guess I
done
haven't
last
noticed
year and it
noticed
was recently
Oh,
done
yes.
this year.
Yeah.
And there's a big empty white building right beside there that Nog just moved out of that is ripe for a mural.
Tattoo.
It would literally make that building look better.
Yeah.
You know, and it would be right beside the crosswalk. And I get the synergy with the library. I'm not denying that we are a place that advocates for these types of groups, and that's great. I don't know, I'm just trying to see it all sides.
I did see your point earlier that they, not everybody will be happy about this. If you go back to when we did the drag story times and all the kind of hate that we got from,
I'm not even concerned so much.
it's just a small
Like,
part of the
whatever,
community, but
But are there kids that their parents are gonna be like, you can't go to the library because they're that, and as sad as that is.
Yeah.
Like, are we alienating people?
I'm more in line with if we do it for this community, it opens the doors to other people who will also want something featured.
it'll have some sort of impact. It's hard to anticipate exactly what it will be. I mean, there'll be some negative comments, certainly. There'll be probably a lot of positive comments, but there may be some negativity around it as well. And if we do nothing, then
I mean, it may look bad to not do it too.
Yeah.
But if we're,
with the city, yeah, I look back.
well, and with the community too, like if we say, you know, we're not gonna do this, then that community might be like, why are you not doing it, right?
Well, and I mean, with our strategic plan, one of our action items is to make sure this is a safe place for that community. That's under the idea priority.
And yeah, I don't think this is the same thing. It's a safe place.
Yeah.
Right?
Wayne, you're muted again.
No, at this point, I like I said, I think we tentatively agree. I'm not sure where this will end up. the consequences of not agreeing are also problematic and cause us some other issues to deal with, I'm sure.
Okay. All right, so the motion is to support the mural project principle. I think it was voted through, but there is some hesitation that I'll share with you.
Is there a way that we could ask a little bit more around the long-term maintenance requirements too? I would just hate for us to put up a mural and maybe, I don't know, even the life of a mural, but like 10 years out that there's now building things that we have to consider or cover up or whatever. Like, would they also commit to some kind of agreement in terms of the ongoing?
I think.
I think I read, in
Yeah,
terms of
that's
the other
maybe-
murals they've done in town, I can jump in, they have about a 10-year lifespan.
And it does say long-term maintenance requirements that arise will be taken care of.
Yeah, they've been doing that to the other murals. Sometimes they'd have the artists come back to touch up
Okay.
a few places and stuff.
So-
But they also put a special coating on them as a part of their maintenance.
So can I make a suggestion? At the bottom of this letter, it says, I would welcome the opportunity to review this proposal in more detail and discuss how this project can align with the library's strategic priorities and ongoing community role. Can we bring Alicia Moore in as a delegate and hear the proposal before we move forward?
Yeah,
I think that's quite reasonable.
Is that,
Would you?
they may have already had a lot of this discussion as well, and they might have some insights they can share with us. I like that.
that delays it till next month, but, or, are we doing next month meeting?
Yeah.
So that delays it till next month, but it literally says that at the bottom of the letter.
Lisa, I think we've already passed a motion to support this in principle. What's being
That's the next
suggested
step.
now is either a revision to that motion
Okay,
or a different motion.
I think that motion can do this.
so revision,
Uh,
like, that we.
What does the motion say? It says,
It's support.
Yeah, the motions to support the mural project in principle, and then it probably has a second clause. And bringing. Pending, yeah.
I don't even think you need to change it. I think that we're gonna get the next step supporting to discuss.
It doesn't affect the motion. We can still ask her to come in.
Yeah, okay,
Let's do that.
Yeah.
So we'll leave the motion as is, and we will request that Alicia come in delegation to discuss the project further. And at that point, it'll give us a little bit of time to think if we might want to sit on that committee too, and maybe after that meeting, we can decide how we're gonna proceed, and who might be part of that.
Thanks, guys.
thank you. Okay, so we can, if everyone's good, we can move on to 7.2. So there's something that's come out of the finance committee. Is that, I didn't see anything about it in the agenda.
It was a motion that I think we
Right.
wanted to discuss.
I don't see it in here. I have it, like, I just went in to look on our Google Drive.
Was it from,
The one that you wrote to Kevin, remember you kind of put together
so that was from
for
me.
that building,
So it's just in the consent agenda. Be it resolved that the library staff investigate the cost, benefits, timeline, and service vendors for a building condition assessment, engage libraries who have completed the process, as well as engage with the city on the use of expansion reserve for this purpose, and report to the board. Sorry.
thanks.
So the motion said.
Okay, yeah, so this, I don't think we've had any discussions, about this though at the board level. We discussed it at finance committee, meeting, about, investigating the possibility of, getting, an external vendor for a building condition assessment.
So the report that came out of the finance committee, you said it's in the consent report.
Yeah, it's in consent.
So it's there. Essentially, in addition to the spreadsheet,
Mhm,
the asset
the city,
the asset
yeah.
management spreadsheet that we have now. This would give us a much more detailed look into planning for what needs to be done to this building. It came about because there have been a lot of emergencies and spending on this building that are coming out of what could otherwise be operating. So this is a potential solution to that. It's not exactly a go forward and do it. It's more of a, is this a good idea motion where the staff can investigate how much a building condition assessment would cost, engage with other libraries that have done it, and actually see if we can use part of the expansion reserve to fund it. So
Yeah, it's really just to kind of, if we can go ahead and just look at the feasibility of having this done. So that's what the motion is here. It's to investigate the costs, benefits, timeline, and service vendors for a building condition assessment, engage libraries who have completed the process, and engage with the city on the use of expansion reserve for this purpose and report to the board.
overall, the goal is to be more proactive in where we're spending the funds that we have, to avoid some of the potential emergencies that come up, and just make a better overall plan for the maintenance of the building.
Yeah. I think if I can just add to that, like, I think we're diligently trying to protect, the public and stuff and the city's physical assets. I know it's not our building, but we want to provide a safe space for our patrons. And it also gives us, we talked about how it can give us an independent sort of hard data to advocate for any necessary repairs or upgrades in the future, sort of like if we had a little strategy put in place. We could present that information in a report to city council. Sometimes funding like a smaller feasibility study might allow us to dictate our spatial needs to the city a bit more. We had a bit of discussion about that as well. So, ready for any input? Wayne, I know you had some thoughts.
Yeah, I don't support this. And I appreciate the finance committee's trying to be prudent and forward thinking, but there's a potential cost here. I don't think we should be spending money to identify the problems with the building that's not ours. I think the route to go would be to present this case through Matthew to the city and explain the situation to them and ask them to pursue a building up. They do it every 10 years. Obviously, it's out of date. There are continual issues. I think Matthew could present a pretty good case to the city that they need to look at the long-term liability and costs associated with maintaining this building, rather than pull it out of our budget, because we could potentially spend $25,000 if we bring in an outside consultant. Ballpark, I don't know if that's accurate. I'm sure there is a cost to it, no matter what we do in terms of utilizing staff to be involved in going down these paths, hiring outside people if that's the case. I just think we go after city to do this job, do this work. Like, yeah, we allocate it from our budget and our reserves and all that, but it's still their building. And I really struggle with spending our budget on maintaining a building that doesn't belong to us. I know we are, and it's continually failing, and a lot of surprises have hit us. that's the rationale Matthew can use to go to the city and say, you need to do an updated building assessment and put it back towards them. Rather than we try to expend time, money and staff time, doing it ourselves. So I don't support this. Thanks.
Yeah, Kevin?
I would support going about it that way first. Let's,
What Wayne's describing.
yeah, let's bring the idea to city and see what they say about it. I mean, it's better, Wayne's right, it's better them do it than us do it. Spend our time.
yeah.
They might use the same money in the end, but like,
I hear that, but I just feel that, you know, when you said a few times, you know, we can advocate to the city and we can like go to them and have them do this, but they do this spreadsheet every 8 years or what have you. I don't know, you know, they identify things or they have identified things on that spreadsheet, high priorities, low priorities, what have you. There's a lot of stuff on that spreadsheet, and if we had, you know, an expert on the outside, a vendor who could provide, you know, a really good assessment of the building condition, that's sort of like, you know, that's what we would go to city with, saying, here, these are the things that we need to focus on. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know how invested they are with making it a priority. And maybe this would help us. That's my, where I'm coming from.
We had, okay, so there's no one in the library that can accurately assess this. And so it does come down to bringing in someone from the outside. I'm just saying that the first step should be to go to city and saying, look, year after year and continual failure of critical systems, we need to know that we're spending taxpayers' dollars correctly. I'm not opposed to this idea.
Yeah,
The idea
yeah.
is good. It just, I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
So, and cheap, you know, it's like I can't get my head around spending money not on a building that's not ours. I get hung up on that every time.
Yeah. Paulo, Steve, Aaron, or David, you guys have any thoughts? David, if you want to go. Oh, Aaron, yeah, Aaron.
I think it's a good idea. I think being proactive is a good idea, but I just struggle with how many times over the past years I've listened to our money situation, and I just think we don't have the money to do this. That's my struggle with it.
Okay, I thought we found a place where we
So-
were going to, yeah.
so the money potentially would come out of the reserve fund.
Yeah.
The expansion reserve fund, so it's not out of operating budget. And I think we would only move forward if we saw a path where doing this was going to be more benefit than the cost of doing it, right? Where we were gonna get some benefit out of it. That was the whole like look into it thing was, is this worth it? Have other libraries have done it? Did they get their money's worth? Were they able to mitigate some things down the road that made this worthwhile? The money that we would be spending, it's not money that we can use except for this building anyway. So,
Okay.
and I don't.
I
Sorry, go
do. I am on board, although I agree with Wayne. Go to the city first, see what happens. Right? Worst case scenario, nothing, and we do this, right?
I think it's just premature for us to do it ourselves without trying to get the city to take this on.
Anyone else with thoughts? If not, then I guess we need a motion, right?
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to try and pass that motion or if you want to propose a new motion.
I think it would be a new
A
motion.
new one, because, yeah,
Like super simply, like be a resolve that the Sault Ste. Marie Public Library engage the city of Sault Ste. Marie to request that a building condition assessment be completed for the library building and report to the board.
Happy to get that.
Be it resolved that Sault Ste. Marie Public Library request the city.
Engage the city of Sault Ste. Marie to request that a building condition assessment be completed the James McIntyre Library and report to the board.
And then we can table the other one depending on
This
the
one?
results, yeah.
Okay.
The result of what we get back after we talk to the city, and then
Okay.
we may circle back to it.
And I think the angle with this, with going to the city, will be that the ones that are being done every 10 years aren't cutting it. They're not complete enough, and they're not frequent enough.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve that?
I made it, so you need a second.
Oh, Kevin, okay. And second, David, okay. Anyone opposed? Good. Okay, business arising from the minutes, there are none. Information items, OLS strategic plans.
Just because, Ontario Library Service has a new strategic plan, and they also help us with our strategic plan. I thought the board would be interested in seeing the new one that they've developed. It's a nice little document. And there's no surprise in terms of what their priorities are. They're there to support us and other public libraries. And, I mean, I can only speak to it a little bit because I haven't seen much beyond this document myself. So what you see there is what I pretty much know at this point. Not very wordy.
No,
Mandate to increase cooperation and coordination among public library boards.
Yeah, so they run a lot of the listservs and a lot of the information sessions for like so I believe they do try to connect up the various boards. Although I'm trying in my mind to make the distinction between what OLS does and what OLA does. So sometimes I get a little bit muddled. I think OLA is the one that does like the OLBA stuff, and so OLS would be more of like training of the boards. So they would have the governance hub, and they would also put on educational sessions for board members, that kind of thing.
One of the things that it says in here is library leaders, like what this looks like is library leaders engaging confidently with local government. And that is something that we just talked about doing, engaging with local government. So
it's especially important this year because and this upcoming year as well, because we have the municipal election. So we're going to have to probably establish some new relations as council changes a little bit, and have to introduce ourselves to some new people probably who are not as familiar with the library, and quite often we'll have like some sort of documents to pass on. In addition, we're going to have a new library board as well. So the board is up for reappointments with the new council. So it'll we'll see what things look like by then.
anyone else have anything to add?
They've helped with like information sessions on like strong major powers. So they're when things like new things come up like that too, they're very supportive of the public library leadership and making sure that they have the knowledge and skills with local government when it comes up.
Okay, 9.2 Ministry of Labor Immigration field visit.
It's been a while since we had one of these. This is a complaint that a staff member had made to the ministry regarding an incident that happened at the library. It didn't meet the definition of workplace violence, as there's no threat of violence, there was no act of violence. So it didn't really meet the thresholds. And the minister who did, or the person who came from the ministry who did the field visit, they were reviewing some of our documents from several years ago, and they're like, here's our new risk assessments with all our risks identified and some of the things that we have in place to mitigate those. We were able to show the changes that we've made since our last visit, and they seem quite impressed with that, especially with the addition of full-time security. So there was no real concerns regarding our violence program here at the library from the ministry's perspective. Does anybody have any questions regarding the complaint?
If I can, I'm assuming that you went through all of this with your health and safety committee.
Yeah, the head of the Joint Health and Safety Committee, both the employer side and the employee side, were participating in the field visit, and so the four of us met together to go over. So the employees gave their input, and then I gave the employers input on the incident.
Did it come up? Was there any talk about a protocol, like when do you call the ministry? So I know that that's not a door you can close for anyone.
No.
But the union could work with its own people about when is that appropriate?
Yeah, basically they can make a complaint whenever they want, and we can't really discourage complaints. They have to feel safe to be able to make a complaint. I personally don't believe that this met the threshold that you would go to the ministry for. But obviously, the individual who made the complaint did feel that way. So, and it was their right to make the complaint, and they did. But there was no real concern. I wasn't concerned when the minister was coming, not like the previous time when we were having real issues.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, we still have the panic buttons, but we also added walkie-talkie system to the libraries, and we've increased our safety procedures. We have full-time security, so we're a lot safer than we were back when the ministry first came. So it wasn't something that I was super concerned about. So.
Did you do anything with the staff following this?
Right. So I was required to remind staff about our health and safety procedures and violence programs. And I did send out an email to all staff, and then I forwarded it on to Kirk from the ministry to make sure that he had a copy of that correspondence.
Mm-hmm.
And I just reiterated a lot of the procedures that are in our staff manual. What else I added to that? And I shared this document with, so all staff would have received a copy of this, and a copy is also posted on the health and safety boards at both locations.
Yeah, because it was a good opportunity to have that review again. Because it says here workers have concerns with how these situations are dealt with. So for them to get a review is good. What's in place for that?
I think there was a little bit of concern of management's involvement in the incident, but security should have been able to handle it themselves, and it was just simply having somebody leave the library who was refusing to leave the library is what the incident came down to. It's something security should have been able to do on their own, and they some of the union felt that maybe management should have taken a bigger role in that, but management did stay until that person was gone, because the police did have to be called to.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything? Okay. 9.3 Alberta's Bill 28.
Okay, I'm not sure how much you guys have been paying attention to Bill 28 in the news. It's really concerning because it's some of the first legislation we've seen in a long time that's restricting people's right to access to library materials in Canada. And so organizations across Canada, including FOPL, OLA, the Canadian Federation of Library Associations, they're all getting together to support the Alberta Libraries Association and trying to push for Bill 28 not to have passed. It has gone through a third reading. Basically, what it does is it restricts certain materials in the library. The bill doesn't specify a lot of the details that will come out later. There'll be like some other document that will accompany it that'll say what content has to be restricted. But the idea is to make sure that youth cannot access any materials that are graphic. And then it would require people to actually show a piece of ID in order to check out certain library materials to make sure that they're 18 or older. And it also gives their ministry power to inspect libraries that they don't currently have. Right now, they can inspect their records and stuff like that. But now they can actually go into libraries and check the shelves and see if you have things in appropriate places according to them. And then they can also file sanctions against libraries that are not following the legislation. And so this is a concern. So we don't want to see something like this spread to Ontario or the rest of Canada. So it's best to fight it in Alberta and try and help those associations. So I know Wayne sent me some additional documents, like there is the Ottawa Public Library wrote a letter of support for Alberta libraries, and there's been a few other libraries that have done similar things. So this is for your information, but if you want to do more, then we can also discuss how we might be able to support Alberta libraries.
Can I jump in, Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot of dialogue on this at FOPL as well. And FOPL has sent a letter as well, and they're not investing. It's a cautious approach at this point. There's been no indication the Ontario government will go down this road, but I was able to share with FOPL that if you look at what's happened in education, it's a pretty close reflection of what's happened in libraries in Alberta. Duly elected bodies and appointed bodies are being relegated to not have a voice, so the education sector is getting hit in Ontario quite badly with how trustees are involved in municipal or in school board operations and budgets and hiring CEOs or directors of education, and it's a centralization of power. So the government doesn't really have to have local input anymore. So we're hoping that doesn't boil over or start to seep into the library sector, and it's just something that we'll be watching. And then, like, advocacy is one of FOPL's main reasons for existing, so they're pretty informed and involved in trying to see how they can support Alberta as they try to get some changes to this legislation. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 10 is board development and board recognition.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, thank you for everybody for getting your photos taken.
what are those going up? You know?
Well, soon after we get approval, that if you guys are okay with the photos that are taken. In addition, to that, we're also looking to figure out where to put our basically our board legacy wall, and maybe we want them in the same place, or maybe we want separate places. I'm not sure.
What do you mean? Oh, as the photos of the board?
The photos of the
Okay.
board. So,
Yeah.
we're ready to print out the photos. It's, where would you like them located? All of the policy says that they have to be located.
No lighting.
It's just, okay, I've got a perfect closet for it. It just says that it needs to be posted at each location. If you want one posted in the boardroom, we can put one in the boardroom. If you want it posted in the public, we can also go crazy and make 2 for this location. Put one in here and then one out in the public area too.
Kevin?
You're talking about the recent ones or the legacy ones?
Those are the recent ones.
Okay.
Ours. Is it, am I not remembering this correctly? I thought when I walked into the library years ago, right there, I thought there were board pictures.
was.
Yeah,
It was right under the donors board.
yeah. That was just for the current board,
Current
right?
board.
So is that an option there?
Yeah.
Okay, there's there. Or keeping them together, like what would make sense to have the current board with the legacy together, or like, I don't know, is there a?
Because before we didn't have, and we don't have it yet, but we're looking to build a legacy wall.
Yeah.
So these kind of go together.
Yeah,
Do you want it with the legacy wall, or are you happy with it being separated out away?
Wayne?
Yeah, I don't, sorry, I don't, the current, one should be visible to the public. I don't think it needs to be in the boardroom as well.
Yeah.
Until they're gone.
I'm happy to put it where it was.
We know who we are.
Where are you, where I said, were you okay? Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the current members should be up on the main wall. I also think the legacy ones should be available to the public. I like the option A. Right. Sticking them in a boardroom doesn't do anything.
No.
So that leads me into this with the various options. So if we were having those 2 things together, areas like this right here would be very cramped. So I don't think you'd be able to have both the photo and the legacy wall. You might barely be able to have the legacy. So it sounds like that a number of board members are liking option A, and that is the recommendation from DOI. So,
Question with that coat rack though, is that used for people using the program rooms or the coat racks in the program, like
No.
what's the effect of removing that?
that used to be used quite heavily back in the day, but I think probably when this was a September room as well. People used to hang their coats up. People don't feel safe leaving their coats
And
hanging out in the lobby. So they're not very well used anymore. It's near the little washrooms that some of the clientele get here. It's not well used.
once you remove that coat rack though, are you gonna have to paint again?
Oh, yeah.
Or- Yeah.
So there'll be that was one of the downsides, is that there's going to be a little bit of reconstruction to fix the holes and stuff like that.
Sorry, clarification to the report. The coat rack does not need to be removed as with the initial assessment.
It doesn't need to be removed, so.
There's plenty of space.
The
it'll go
space
Above, it'll go above obviously then.
could go above. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I want to get rid of the coat rack.
I was like, it's gonna look.
I
with the
second
coat
that.
rack and then
Yeah.
that. I
If
don't
no
know.
one's using it, I say get rid
Yeah,
of it too.
it's here.
Is there enough room? That's a big wall.
Yeah.
Is there enough room to have the books store have some space there so that they can display something cool?
Yeah.
Like if we're gonna put a wall up and
Do something with it.
do something with it, let's make it a cool wall.
Yeah. We could. We could also put on like a bulletin board for like a community events
Yeah.
board or something. Like we could activate the space quite a bit more than what it is.
But yeah,
Well,
I was thinking more legacy and donors and. But.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, we could do a friend's legacy there. Probably,
I think.
yeah. Probably with the presidents.
Okay.
And then we have the big donor wall up in
Yeah.
the north side of the lobby.
Anybody online have anything they want to talk about? All right.
I would just like to see it get done. We've been talking about
Yeah.
this for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know?
Do we need a
Yeah.
motion?
I'd
Okay,
like to motion. Choose option.
yeah, so motion to choose option A. Does go there, right? So do I need a seconder?
Who's the mover?
Me.
Okay.
Second.
I
David. Okay, got David. I got David. Anybody opposed? Okay. New policies, there are none. Strategic plan update, 12.1. The tracking doc.
So our last meeting, it was a board meeting, and we were discussing strategic plan, and part of the discussion revolved around the tracking, and it was suggested that we add in another category for tracking, which was kind of a not pursued item for various reasons, like the downtown association involved, like the library being involved with the downtown association was one action item that we're not pursuing because the downtown association is not existent. And there's other ones where if we the Wi-Fi hotspots, one action item was to investigate them. There was another one to actually implement the project, but when we investigated, we found it was not feasible and not financially sustainable. So we decided that was not something to pursue. So you'll now notice that there's a green bar that's in here on our action item progress. And it does affect some of the progress being made and how much is complete on the strategic plan. So far, the plan is 14% complete, but we've made progress on 69.1%, which is close to 70. And there's updated pie graphs for each category as well, and you can see that combined with ongoing and completed, almost every action item is about half done or more. So I think we're making a lot of really great progress on the strategic plan.
Thanks, Matthew.
And then if we move on to the next part of it,
Already surveyed?
yeah, the priorities.
It's missing.
Yeah, it's not part of the
It's not in the package.
package. It is in the package I gave you guys on that.
The second one, that's what I'm looking at it on. Yeah. That's the end of the package.
Okay. I'll have to double check your packages.
I'll look again, but I'm pretty sure I opened that
From the first one?
no, from the latest one. Yeah, that's your revision.
Yeah. That's the revised one.
Yeah, that's not in there.
It's not in there? Okay.
At least not at the bottom.
Was that survey that you?
Yeah, that was a survey. So there was approximately 38 priorities.
Yeah.
The one that came up the most often was the activating the south side of the library, which kind of surprised me. But it's one that a lot of board members like the idea of.
I forget which one that is, doing the south side.
So
Oh, yeah,
it's the area right here.
To, yeah.
it's like a big empty space,
Mhm.
so. I'll take that as a directive to investigate further into what we do in that space. There was a lot of complaint that I only let you choose one item per
Oh, what are
category.
we supposed to do? Like,
Yeah,
that could, yeah.
so I struggled with that to allow you to choose more than one. As it was, with everybody only choosing one, there was 38 chosen.
Yeah.
Um,
Did everybody respond?
yeah, everybody did
Okay.
respond. So, I could have allowed you to do two, but then I would have to isolate the ones that nobody chose, or isolate the ones that only have one choice, I guess, and that could be cutting out quite a bit. So, yeah.
Do you feel like this exercise helped you with direction?
Yeah, I do. The one thing is, I'm noticing some patterns in it. So you may not have had overlap on some things, but the website kept coming up. Right? And if there's a number of action items related to the website, then I know that the website is clearly a problem. It should be a higher priority, and maybe we should be working towards replacing that website. If I've got 4 action items that say, hey, you need to do an accessibility search on this, you need to add these kind of things to the website, you need to do a Google Analytics on how people are using the website. So it gives me some direction in that respect. So I'm looking for some patterns in that way, and then other things I can kind of maybe isolate and be like, hey, to my managers, like, this is something that the board's identified, so we can deal with this one. So there's some that are one-offs that aren't related to the other priorities, but some of them are certainly attached.
And we'll redo this exercise quarterly.
Good idea.
As
I think
things,
it's great,
as things
yeah.
get finished.
Yeah.
I mean, it's helpful for him, it's helpful for us.
Yes. And if you could send us, email us that portion that's missing then, so we can just have a look.
Was it in the first one I sent?
Good question. Not sure I got to the end of the novel.
I mean, it was 105 pages, the document I sent. There was like 25 different PDFs that I had to compile into a single document. So it is quite possible that I accidentally left something.
We can move on.
Yep.
13, so new business, there isn't anything. And the next board meeting, we have June 22nd, 14. And I guess that's a wrap. We can adjourn.
You want to vote on it,
If
Steve?
that's okay with everybody.
Oh,
We make them mad.
Oh, he's gone. Okay. So thanks, everybody, and bear with me, please, as I finesse my duties here. I am just learning.
Yeah.
So thanks.
No, it's not in the first one either.
no? Okay.
You did a great job.
That's okay.